So what's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew what?
Andrew Navarez.
I can't hear you.
And how long have you been a Morrissey fan?
What?
I said, how long have you been a Morrissey fan?
For 4 years.
And how old are you?
5.
Let's give this kid a hand. And what song are you going to be playing for us?
Hector.
Alright, now let's go to the show.
You have never been in love till you've seen the star rise behind the whole horizon. We are the great team that
My nephew, he loves Morrissey, and he calls it the Hector song, and he just always sings it. He knows Morrissey's cool.
I forgot the rest.
You forgot the rest. I can see his rest.
Standing on our streets. And that one Hector and the first of the gang with the gun in his hand. And the first 2 times, the first of the gang to die. Oh my. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And you're standing on our streets. One Hector was the first of the gang with the gun in his hand. And the first 2 times, the first of the gang to die.
And then also 2 of my nephews, they're twins, they're like 15 right now. They're like really into like the Smiths and Morrissey and stuff, and they also play guitar and stuff, so they like sit in a room and try to learn like the songs and play it. So Morrissey's a family name.
He stole our hearts away, ahead, 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 way ahead. He stole our hearts away, away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's hear it for Andrew Navarez.
Stephen Patrick Morrissey was born on May 22nd, 1959 in Manchester, England. He dropped his forenames to become Morrissey, lead singer of the seminal UK indie band The Smiths. When the band broke up in 1987, Morrissey developed a successful solo career and is one of only a few artists to have had UK top 10 singles in 3 separate decades. Morrissey's ambiguous sexuality, provocative iconoclasm, and lyrical compositions blended with guitarist Johnny Marr's highly melodic songwriting to sell many recordings. The band broke up due to conflict between Morrissey and Marr. Morrissey's work, both solo and with the Smiths, has been well regarded. Reputed to be uninterested in compromise or record company marketing principles, Morrissey has long suffered the consequences of operating as a quasi-outsider in the music industry. Though his large and loyal fan base follow his every move, his albums since 1996 had great trouble finding a wider audience. Between 1999 and 2003, Morrissey was unable to find a record contract at all. Morrissey vacated his English home for Los Angeles in the late 1990s and found an entirely new life in the American West, where, to his own amazement, he is connected with the Latino community, where there is now a large fan base. Morrissey's songs of alienation and isolation have appeared to translate lock, stock and barrel from the streets of Manchester to the barrios of LA, something that he himself has expressed surprise and gratitude about. In June 2003, Sanctuary Records Group announced a deal with Morrissey. Since then, he has released You Are the Quarry in 2004 and Ringleader of the Tormentors in 2006. His career is still thriving, and Morrissey has proven himself to be a true icon.
If there's any one word I can say about Morrissey is that he completely has his passion. Whether it's about love, hate, vengeance, you know, the reality of the world. It's just passion.
Well, see, for a lot of people, you know, some people aren't him because of his music. But for me, for a long time, it was more than just music. You know, it was a celibacy, pacifist, meat is murder, don't wear leather. It was more. You know, he's just so intriguing, and just everything he says, you wanna go by because you wanna be like him. You know.
I didn't just have to own every single record and every single B-side and every single everything. I had to read every article, every interview, every cereal box that contained anything even remotely related to Morrissey. I had to find out who his influences are and then get into that music that he grew up listening to. And I had to find out every single thing I could about this person.
I think Morrissey, it really affects people a lot, because I've noticed that ever since I've started listening to him, I look at things differently.
1 minute, you know, I had no clue. The next minute, I was letting my hair grow out, turning vegetarian, and you know, heading for art and music and everything else. So it was just a huge, drastic change quickly, and Morrissey was a part of it.
But I think he's enabled me to change my life. You know, his music and just his strength and his, you know, the strength that he has just to sing about what he wants to sing, and the things about, you know, that he sings about, and his sense of humor, and just throwing it out there regardless of what people might think, you know, or what people might say, it's really courageous.
When I felt down and out that nobody understood me, his music, whether solo or with the Smiths, I just felt spoke to me in ways that people couldn't communicate with me.
What appeals to me most about Morrissey is his look on life, how there can be a depressing side but still find hope and live life to the fullest, I guess.
Well, there was a time where I was kind of down, not really liking life in the Navy, and his music kind of opened my eyes and showed me that, I mean, it could be worse.
You know what? He's not like these other bands out. You know, he's really an individual. You know, lyrically, his views. I mean, he's just on his own. There's no one that can compare to him. I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to say that we have like a connection, but I think if anything, I probably have a connection with the fans.
Morrissey, really, I think he loves his fans a lot. And just something so simple to go up and touch somebody's hand, and I guess that could just be like one of those, that could change somebody's life. I mean, to have that power, I don't know, that's crazy, man.
You can't speak about Morrissey without laughing or having a great smile across your face, and that just says it right there, you know what I mean? That he's just completely powerful and amazing.
We are the Sweet Tender Hooligans. My name is Jose.
But let's keep in mind that this is a new market. We have to razzle dazzle. First impressions are everything. So let's just keep that in mind when we are on the East Coast.
My name is Jose Maldonado. I'm lead singer of Sweet and Tender Hooligans. I first began Sweet and Tender Hooligans in 1992. When we decided on the name, Sweet and Tender Hooligans, we were still with every intention of being an all-original band. And I had said, you know what we ought to do? We ought to come up with a name that, you know, is like a Smith song. You know, that way everyone will know. And in retrospect, it never fits on the marquee. People get it wrong. They call us the Fine Young Hooligans. They call us the Young and Tender Hooligans. They screw it up all the time. When the very first Morrissey Smiths convention happened here in Los Angeles, the very first one in Los Angeles, in 1992, I said, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea if we, you know, did a show where we just did all Morrissey and all the Smiths? You know, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, you know. From then on, every year that they would do the Morrissey and Smiths convention, that's what we did. Once a year, we did the Morrissey and Smiths convention and did only Morrissey and Smiths songs. The rest of the year, we were out doing our original stuff. I guess we sort of grew out of the idea of us becoming an all original band and just continue to do the tribute show to what it is today, which is now what we do exclusively. The the tribute band is just what it is. It's just a hobby that a lot of people keep asking us to do. Being at a Sweet and Tender Hooligans show is one of the greatest experiences for me, not just because we get to perform and have a good time and party and do something that we would do anyway in a garage somewhere with maybe only 4 or 5 people or 5 of our friends around, something we would do anyway. But the coolest thing is being in a room full of people who love Morrissey and love these songs and love listening to them and singing along. What I would hope that everybody understands is that we do what we do out of love and respect and admiration for the greatest singer, songwriter that ever lived. This is probably the question I get more often than anything else. I mean, the question, why so many Latinos, why so many Mexicans, why so many Hispanic Morrissey fans, particularly in Los Angeles?
Yes, that's the million-dollar question. Why is it that Latinos are Morrissey's #1 fans? And my theory is that Morrissey moved to LA. Now LA is a big Latino community, you know? So by him being in LA, and of course the majority of the people in LA being Latino, you know, I mean, he could have moved to Alaska and guess what? His biggest base fan would have probably been Eskimos.
There's a couple of answers. The easy answer is just virtue of numbers.
There is a lot of Mexicans that like him and Latinos, you know that, because when you go to shows, that's all there is.
Yeah.
El Paso, Texas also has a very high Latino population, and not surprisingly, we do quite well there. In many cases, just as insane and just as well received as in Los Angeles.
You know, and that's what, you go to the conventions, that's all you see, it's just Latinos.
Speaking for myself, I just liked what I heard. You know, he could have been from Zimbabwe or Iraq or anywhere, really. All I knew is that I liked this person's voice and this person's lyrics.
It's about loss, he sings about life, he sings about the working class.
I think to a lot of people it has a lot to do with the whole working class deal. You know, Morrissey, like I said earlier, Morrissey was, you know, somewhat of an underdog and, you know, portrayed himself that way. And I think a lot of people can relate to that.
I think the Latinos, Hispanics, whatever you want to call them, the group in general, they connect to him because, like with the Smiths, he was always the outsider. He always sang about being the outsider and about things being wrong in society and tough. And Latinos for a long time, especially in the area, I mean, there's a lot of us. I mean, everywhere you go, you just can't see, you know, can't not see them. But they're still, you know, looked at as, oh, slow and, you know, not too smart because, oh, if they don't speak English, oh, you know, and it's a stigma that we constantly have to struggle and fight for.
I think Morrissey affects the Hispanic culture the most, probably because, I don't know, probably my opinion, probably because I guess Hispanics are kind of looked down on in a way. You know, people think, oh, Hispanic, a person sitting on, you know, the back of the truck drinking beer or something like that, you know? And like when you think about that and then like you hear his music, it's like, it talks about, you know, like people talking smack and for like no good reason. I think the Hispanics also relate to that a lot because some people are looked down on.
Well, I guess since, you know, he likes, you know, Los Angeles, and in Los Angeles it's a majority is like Hispanic, like bass fans. I think it reminds him of when he in Manchester and like, you know, Salford, you know how it's like more like the ghetto of Manchester, whereas over here like East LA and El Sereno and, you know, Lincoln Heights and whatnot, it's where Manchester's ghetto, but here.
Because we kind of relate to him, you know, him being Irish, raised in England, and like us being Mexicans, raised in the States.
You're raised Catholic, your family loves soccer and boxing, you tend to have large families, that type of thing. Your family is working class, and these similarities exist, and maybe we just relate to the person, we relate to Morrissey as that type of person who was an outsider.
It's the lyrics, actually. I mean, if you hear a lot of like, there's a light that never goes out, you know, or he's always talking about, you know, I die with my friends. Like with Hispanics, that's like, you know, it's like, I can't really explain it. It's just like this
Kind of part of the culture?
Yeah, kind of part of the culture. It's like, yeah, you know, you're friends and you'll stick together like no matter what.
He kind of gives that Mexican vibe a little bit, and he's always talking about soccer in Mexico and stuff like that.
Yeah, but soccer just isn't Mexico. England is football also. So maybe Mexicans just jumped on the bandwagon, hey, this guy's cool and he wants to talk about football.
But I think a lot of it has to do with the lifestyle, you know, being the underdog. A lot of the Latin population did attend some sort of private school, and you know, which he did. I think also a lot of it had to do with the rockabilly lifestyle.
It might just be for people like being different. They like, you know, I think a lot of people might like the style that goes along with being a Morrissey fan.
Just, it's basically like big figure, you know. Some people like James Dean. He's like our James Dean.
I think just the Latino, they just get it. They just understand it and they just connect with it.
Why do so many Mexicans gravitate towards Morrissey? It's still a mystery. But you know, I think it's great, you know?
Being young in high school and like, you know, loving Morrissey and meeting other people who also loved him, I had this friend, I still have this friend, Melissa, and you know, we're like all young, like, yeah, we're gonna, when we grow up, we're gonna save money, we're gonna go see Morrissey in Manchester, you know. And then he did the show on his birthday, and it was like, that's like a dream come true. And then we found out that they were doing a Morrissey tour, and it was like so amazing. You know, we went to the Iron Bridge, we passed by the Holy Name Church, we went to Softer Lads Club.
We took a train over to Manchester, and all of a sudden it was weird. It was just like being in a Morrissey song, being out into Manchester and really seeing that the city is exactly how Morrissey described it. A lot of abandoned buildings, it was very brick oriented. You know, everything was somewhat run down except for the city center. And for the most part, it was working class, like he had described. Being out there, it was interesting to see that the working class was not brown skin, black hair, brown eyes. It was blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, light skin, which, you know, it was just fascinating to know that. My girlfriend actually, she really was culture shocked by that.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines from Morrissey is from the song Speedway, and it's the line that says, "And when you try to break my spirit, it won't work, because there's nothing left to break anymore."
I mean, growing up in South Central, you know, I heard the music that's played in the barrios and in the hoods, which is gangster rap, norteñas, corridos, was typical of those niches.
A lot of songs in Spanish with singers of the same type of singers of that same type of similar music in Spanish, they tend to go with those recurring themes of like love lost, or unrequited love, or sorrow over a relationship that didn't work out. So maybe we draw to it because of that.
I heard him at Morrissey on K-Rock one time, and I think I heard him sing "The Night Never Goes Out," and there's a guy, Mikel Erection, he sings one in Spanish, and I heard his first, so when I heard Morrissey singing, I thought he was singing his song.
So, something that might be due to our parents and our bringing being Latino, especially Mexican, I can compare him to a few Mexican artists such as Pepe Aguilar, Vicente Fernandez, and Juan Gabriel. The first two, Pepe Aguilar and Vicente Fernandez, are balladeers. They're Frank Sinatra's of Mexican ranchera music. They're known to bring man to cry and on their knees when they sing their words, when they sing about being heartbroken, about being in love, and about life in general.
We were parked like 2 feet from where he was.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, there he is, there he is. I turned around and I looked and like, streaming. And she was like, oh, what are you crying for? What are you crying for? There's no need to cry. But it's just that he has that, that aura, that presence just, just sets you in tears.
The thing about Morrissey that I don't know, just that I love so much, it's the way his music reminds me of certain places, certain times and periods in my life.
Maybe the lyrics. I mean, if you look at the lyrics, doesn't matter like who or what race you are. You could like so relate to them at one point or another in your life, especially when it comes to love.
It was Morrissey's voice. It's like really beautiful. It's like an angel.
Every little song is like just reminiscing about my life.
When I was 13, my drum instructor gave me a CD of the Smiths. He gave me The Queen is Dead. First song starts out with a drum solo, so I was hooked.
One of the songs I really liked that I first heard was probably the Smiths' Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
I guess it would be Break Up the Family, because of what was going through my life, with my family and friends. And so that some of the lyrics on it, it touches base with me.
The more you ignore me, the closer I get. Now my heart is full and hold on to your friends.
Seasick yet still Doc. It's like so simple.
Like Jack the Ripper, Spring Hill Gym.
The Headmaster Ritual, for instance, I can relate a lot to that and to the lyrics.
And I even picked up a little tradition. Before any gig I play This Charming Man Is Good Luck.
This wonderful voice that didn't sound like anyone I had ever heard before in my life, and these lyrics that didn't sound like anything I had ever read before in my life. It changed me forever.
That's another reason why it's like easy for me to like sit there and listen. It's like you put a song on and you could like cry about it 1 minute and the next you could be laughing about it.
I was just amazed. I was like, I couldn't believe how honest and how so honest and sincere he is with his music. I mean, he's only saying the truth. It's nothing. He's not sugarcoating anything. It's all from the heart.
And I've noticed that a lot of his words applies to me, and I can relate to what he's saying. And I think his words mold to anybody.
It's just amazing that somebody like Morrissey can bring so many people, to their knees and cry, or just bring out the most emotional aspect of them out.
Well, when I really started getting into Morrissey, the two guys that got me into him are in the military, but they're from LA area. Yeah, the Navy life is different. It's you don't really have to say of anything you do. You pretty much follow the rules. And on my off time, I listen to Morrissey a lot, Smiths, especially when we're underway. There's something about his music that calms me down, especially a lot of guys on the ship gone for months. It gets kind of stressful. And for some reason, his music calms me down. That and, of course, calling my wife on the phone. But his music at night or when I'm on watch really helps out.
This stage in the game, I try to pick out a specific outfit, a specific look for the night. With some stars, like Elvis Presley, there's like two different looks. You could either go the young and virile Elvis Presley in the 50s, or you can go with the 70s Elvis in the white jumpsuit. With Morrissey, there's a couple of looks you can go with. There's a few looks you can go with.
In high school, a lot of people were into Morrissey and the Smiths, and to me, it was a fashion thing.
Style-wise, dress-wise, yes. I like
the look.
You know, they wore the t-shirts every day and, you know, had the stickers and the patches and whatnot.
That greaser image.
I mean, you look at Elvis Presley, you know, Elvis Presley came out, he was white, he had the pomp, you know, he had the clothes, he had the voice, and everybody took a liking to him.
I know when I was in, there was like this whole like little subculture, these guys called the rebels. They call themselves rebels, and you know, remember the bangs? How they would just have the bangs? That came from Morrissey.
This is also where I will get dressed, get the haircut ready for the Morrissey style pompadour.
And you know, the guys, they'd wear like their, you know, jeans all curled up, their tight white t-shirts and their belt buckles and their Harley Davidson boots and their chain wallets, cigarettes.
Smith's era Morrissey typically would wear like a long sleeved collared shirt, maybe striped, or a floral pattern, with of course the trademark World Health glasses and the hearing aid, that kind of thing.
My favorite I can say right now is probably the mid-90s. 95 Boxers tour, you say. I really like the way that their hair, sports coat, dress shirt, jeans.
Yes, I did try to do the penny loafer with the jeans, the sports jacket, and I did want a pompadour or a queef at one point in time.
Glam era Morrissey, like your Arsenal right around that time, would wear like a shiny lame shirt like this one. It's actually one of my favorites. I like this one. I hope I don't ever lose that to a stage invader.
He's like one of the most handsome guys. The older he gets, the finer he gets.
Mature Morrissey, sort of like this era currently. He's taken to wearing a lot of really nice jackets, suits, that type of thing. And I don't know, that's probably the look I'll go with tonight, with maybe a ruffled shirt like this one.
I think he's cute.
I don't look at him in that kind of a manner.
Whatever. Johnny Gonzalez, 19 years old and born in Pasadena, California.
I'm Roger Daniel Alcocer, born in Pasadena, California, age 25.
Juan Fabian Fausto, Southgate, California, age 24.
Omar Aaron Alcocer, born in Pasadena, raised in Compton. Age 21. Sorry for that.
Julian Mendoza, age 21, born in Bellflower, California.
Well, I mean, I'm not a musician. I sing like in the shower, this and that. I mean, I was in choir when I was like in 5th, 6th grade. But one day we're just, I mean, these guys are all musicians. They've all been in bands before. And one day we were at Club London. We were watching, I think, Omar. He was playing with his band SR80. And was it Tomcat? Tomcat mentioned the idea to you? Or you mentioned it to him. Fabian mentioned the idea to Tomcat, who's a promoter for this Club London at Bordner's. And he mentioned him the idea of doing a Smith, you know, tribute if he'd pretty much give us a chance to do it. And, you know, Fabian approached me and said if I wanted to sing, because he knows I've always wanted to sing for a band, you know. So we said yeah. Tomcat pretty much gave us a date. And, I mean, we started practicing around late December, and to tell you the truth, at first I was a little iffy about it, but you know, we were like in the midst of a tragedy. My mother had pretty much, she's schizophrenic, and she had disappeared, and she had abandoned 3 of her children that she had, not with my father, with another man. And she had abandoned these 3 children, and you know, we pretty much had to assume custody of these children, and I pretty much did it so that I wouldn't have to think about that, so I can focus on something else. And I was like, hey, what more, what better to do than, maybe these songs, these songs that pretty much sing to your life and stuff. It's just good that we're all family, we're all doing something we like, we all share like a great love for the Smiths and Morrissey, and it all, I guess in the end, pretty much works out.
I'm grateful for it because now, we all have the chance to kind of, show our thanks for what Morrissey has done. I guess for not only us, but a lot of people all around us. Because somehow, some way, Morrissey connects everyone. So that's kind of nice.
He's been known to bring los machos de los más machos on their knees and to cry.
I've got a coworker at work that he was when I first met him and stuff, and like I said, whenever I meet somebody, I always bring up Morrissey, and he looked at me, and I'm this big, heavy-set guy, and he's like, he thought I was probably listening like to Motorhead or something like that when I told him about Morrissey.
There was a lot of people that were like, I'm sitting there listening to the Smiths and his high, whiny, high-pitched voice. And they're sitting there going, what are you listening to? Why are you listening to this guy? This guy sounds gay. He sounds, not masculine. The songs are, are you a woman? Are you going to cry?
Morrissey's sexuality or questionable sexuality does not affect the way I see him as a person.
I would care whatever his preference is, gender. I don't care what it is, I don't even look at that.
I mean, I know like a lot of people who don't know Morrissey, they're like, oh yeah, he's gay and this and that. And he likes like so many things. Why limit yourself?
Morrissey, he's very ambiguous, and supposedly he was celibate. Now, of course, he's already said he's not celibate, and he's actually seen somebody. We don't know who that somebody is, and you know what, if you're going to be a Morrissey Smiths fan, you have to have a very open mind.
Plus his lyrics, they were like, you could relate to them. Especially, like me. I was going to school, and I was gay, and at that time there wasn't a lot of people out, and back then, you're a weirdo, you're strange.
How can you like him and stuff? You know what, I'm very secure with my male, how you say it, my male sexuality, Not saying that this is a big macho guy. I think that I'm very, very secure with my feelings.
I think that we're gonna get offended and be like
physical or something,
And when they say, you guys are fags, and we're like, thanks. Okay, so we are.
He has that effect, like you could take this hardcore person and totally give him like a different point of view.
But until he comes out, he's not. So it doesn't. To tell you the truth, I don't really care if he is or he's not.
I think anybody would be with Morrissey.
When you go to a Morrissey concert, you see all these Mexican, Chicano, Latino, big tough guys, and they sit there crying, they sit there acting like girls, like tiny boppers at a Justin Timberlake show, trying to get to stage, trying to touch Morrissey.
My first Morrissey show that I ever went to was at, where was it? At the Greek Theater, and it was, and I'm just sitting there just totally emotional. And I've seen it on the bootlegs, where people jump on stage and stuff. And this time, people jump on stage and they tackle them, and it's just like, oh my God, you know, and it's just so heartbreaking, and it just broke my heart to see that, you know, people, because, you know, you see the Smiths videos where the guy walks up, you know, shakes his hand, pats him on the shoulder, you know, and takes off, and it's like, wow, you know, that guy was pretty cool, you know, he actually had respect, you know, and other guys, you know, come up and hug, whatever, you know, that they did, and other people, but that don't tackle him. These people tackle. I mean, it was like, just, it was sickening.
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys are kind of like, you can question themselves.
You know, you got a guy standing there, you know, Morrissey, you're so sexy. You know, it makes you wonder.
The first ever Coachella Music and Arts Festival back in 1999, Morrissey performed there. He was on the main stage. That's a highlight to me because that night I was there, I was in attendance, and I went through an obstacle course to get to stage. I jumped the fence, I hid behind a truck that was moving slowly, I went around the back of the stage, I climbed, it was at least a 10-foot tall stage, I climbed the back of it. I got caught by securities, but I didn't know that there was a guy behind me doing the same thing. And the security guard let go of me to grab the other guy, so I took off and ran onto stage, and that's where I got to hug Morrissey and be in front of thousands and thousands of people.
Like, in his songs, when he talks about, like, just any of his songs, he talks about somebody else, but he never, like, mentions if it's a girl or if it's a guy. It's always like you have that, it's like, you can always relate to whatever you like, and, like, you know, it's always that, you know, he never says, like, girl, or, you know, so it kind of leaves it open, and just, I think that's cool that he does that.
I don't think it matters. I think I mean, when you're talking about labels and stuff, I think he likes people.
He's just a human being, and once you get past the sexuality and just the stigma, it really doesn't matter, because the music is what actually counts.
So the story of the Mazdal, the story of the Mazdal came about 2 years ago. Me and my wife were watching the movie My Life with Morrissey. And for those who have seen it or haven't seen it, in the movie there's this psycho Morrissey fan, and she's built a shrine in her room with candles and pictures of Morrissey and beads and all sorts of things. And right in the middle of the shrine was this doll that looks like she made it. So I looked at my wife and I said, I think I can make a doll like that. And I don't have any experience in doll making, never messed around with dolls, but something just came and said, you know, try it, do it. So I got a doll part, cut the head off of it, and the whole head of Morrissey is made of Laguna clay. It's all hand molded. It's also all hand painted. And the clothes was actually done by a neighbor of mine who was a seamstress. And so she made him a little gold lame shirt with snap-on buttons. And she also made the Levi's. The Levi's is actually a pair of my old Levi's that she cut up and made the pants out of. It's got a little pocket here in the back. And the shoes were already made. I bought them at a doll store. And I put it all together, and I think I did a pretty good job.
Meeting the men. I've been one of just those fortunate few who have.
Back in August of '96, I went to the Roxy to go see Ash play, and Morrissey just happened to walk in.
A close meeting was at the El Rey. That was about 2 years ago.
And I saw him, and I didn't believe that I was seeing him. And I just went up to him, and as soon as he sat down, they put a VIP thing around him. And other people were trying to go talk to him, but they were kicking everyone out. And I just saw him, and I just said hi. I didn't even know what to say. I couldn't even say anything. And I had a little jelly bracelet thing. And I took it off and I gave it to him because I wanted to give him something.
And me and my friends were standing there looking around, and the lights were on and everything. For some reason, I looked up. People were looking up actually, and it got my attention. I looked up towards the balcony, and Morrissey was there.
That night at Ash, I didn't even watch the show. I kept watching Morrissey,
but I just knew it was him. As soon as the second I saw him, the hair, of course. And I said, that's Morrissey. And my fiance's like, no, that's not him. That's not him. I said, no, that's him.
I had my camera in my friend's car, so I got my friend's keys and I went, I left the show early and I went to go get the camera. When I came back, Morrissey was walking outside and I just started like taking pictures, just like, because I never thought I would take like pictures of him. I started taking pictures and he was like kind of like playing around, like looking like straight into the camera and stuff, and then after like he just like walked across Sunset like nothing. He just started walking.
And Morrissey was sitting down. He had his back towards us, drinking a Corona, and he was maybe 4 feet away from me. And I, you know, my fiance kept saying, you know, say hi to him or introduce yourself, you know, get his attention. I was like, no, you know, I've read so many interviews and articles with Morrissey saying that he doesn't, when he goes out, it's really, how do you say, people are always looking at him, pointing at him, so, you know, very discomforting for him to go out, he says. So I didn't want to be one of those people that, you know, gonna go ahead and interrupt him drinking a Corona. You know, he's a regular person just like everybody else, and I gave him that respect, and I, you know, but there's always that little thing in the back of my mind that said I should have introduced myself and said, oh, Morris, I'm a big fan, but I think that there'll be other times.
And some other people that were there, they were like asking me if they can have some prints, and I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, hey, let's follow him. And then I was just like, okay. So we crossed the street, and we almost got hit, by the way, crossing the street. And then we walked to, he went to a liquor store on Sunset, and like I just like walked in there, and like I saw him, and I was just, I didn't know what to say. I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Morrissey. And he like turned around, and then I'm like, hi. And then he's like, hi. And like, he's like really nice. And I was just like, can I buy that for you? It was like a water bottle or something. And he's like, okay. And so at that time, then the other people came in, and we're just like talking to him. And I think he had like some kind of sweet, like a donut or something. And yeah, he was really nice to all of us. And it was me and like maybe 4 other people, and they were like Hispanic and stuff. So he was like interested in that. And this was back in '96. And after we took some photos with him and everything, and this is when he was staying at the Sunset Marquee, and we asked if we can walk him, and he's like, yeah. So we walked him to the hotel, and he was asking us about Mexican food and music and stuff. And this is before I knew like he was real, you know, he was becoming obsessed with, you know, the Latino fans and everything. And he was just like, he wanted to know about us. He wanted to know like if we were going to school, if we were like working and stuff. And he was just like really like any other person you talk to. So we were lucky enough to walk him to his hotel.
I'd always thought that if I did meet him, it was going to be this really quick autograph signing, hi, bye, shake your hand, love your music, see you later. Oh, you know, make sure you buy the CD on the way out kind of thing. So I was perfectly content with, if that's the only way I ever got to meet him, then that's the only way I ever got to meet him.
I've seen him, I met him at the DVD signing. And of course, when you went to him, they told you, you know, you can't talk to him, don't ask for no autographs, nothing. So by the time I got up there, all I could do was cry. I asked to shake his hand. He had the pen in his hand. So, you know, can I shake your hand? And he picked it up with the other hand. He put his hand out. So I put my hand up, and he like got my hand and he was holding it. And he was like, no, you just have. I started crying. So that was like overwhelming. Wait for that for years, and you actually like face to face. It's just unbelievable for me to actually like see him face to face.
And the very first time I met him, I don't ever get tired of telling this story, so have a seat. The very first time I met him, it was at a bar in Pasadena, and it was completely without even trying, this was during your Arsenal, And the band was in a break of tour, and they were looking for another opening act. And we, the Hooligans, happened to be at this bar that, I mean, we used to go there every Thursday night. I mean, we just went there like religion. I mean, we weren't trying. And just one day, holy crap, there he is. Actually, it was holy crap, there's Gary Day. Holy crap, there's Alan White. Holy crap, there's Boz Brewer. Oh my God, there's Morrissey. You know, so it just couldn't have happened. It could not have been more. I mean, it was divine intervention at that point. And you know, everyone was mobbed around Boz Brewer at this particular venue and this particular time in Morrissey's career. Everyone was mobbed around Boz Brewer because this was a rockabilly club. So Boz was the big man in that house. Morrissey was just kind of an ordinary guy sipping a Corona. And I'll never forget, my bass player and I were just like, look at that, he drinks. Like he actually needs to like drink to like, you know, sustain himself. Oh my God, you know. And it was just, you know, terrific. We, you know, walked up to him and said hello, and, you know, I actually went back to the car first to get a CD for him to sign so that I'd have something to break the ice, you know. Had all the band members sign it, and then had Morrissey sign the back, you know. And he'd asked me what my name was, and I told him Jose, and even back then he was saying, you know, I've noticed that in Los Angeles there are a lot of Mexican fans, and why do you suppose that is? He asked me that, you know. Like I could even form a sentence, you know, and so, you know, I mean, I just said it's probably just because there's just so many of us, you know, I mean, just by virtue of numbers. That's just how it, that's just the way it goes, you know. He had said something to the effect of he wasn't sure how well his records sell in Spanish-speaking countries, so what's the draw? And I said, you know, speaking for myself, I just love your songs, you know. And that's when I got to say to him what I'd always rehearsed. I would say if I ever had the chance. And anyone listening out there, have something to say. Have in your mind, in your script, what you would say if you ever did meet that person. That way, if it ever does happen, you'll be ready. And I just did. I looked him square in the eye and I said, I've always rehearsed what I would say to you when I met you, and now that I've met you, I wanted you to know that every single day of my life is always just that much better because your songs are always a part of it. And I got most of it out before I just started crying, you know. And then he looked back at me with genuine sincerity and he said, the feeling is entirely mutual, because every single day of my life is always that much better because I know that there's people listening to those songs. So that's when I started blubbering like an idiot, you know, and I just felt like, you know, that okay, I've said it, and you know, and he answered, and he was cool, and I looked down at the autograph, and it said, to Jose, good luck forever, Morrissey. And what can I say? Ever since then, I've had good luck.
We had gone to, before we went to K-Rock, we like went to his house at 5 o'clock in the morning. And we were just sitting out there. Everyone said that he wasn't going to be there, or he was going to stay at a hotel or something. And he ended up being there. And when he walked out, we were just sitting in the car and we're like, Morrissey, can we have your autograph? And he was just like, oh, I'm running a little bit late. And
I was like, please, been waiting for this for years, please.
And then he was just like, okay. And then we came out of the car.
Yeah, he actually took the time to talk to us too.
Yeah.
I think he liked me more than her.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, did.
I introduced him as my girlfriend, and then like he was on my side of the car, and then when he found that out,
as your girlfriend.
He freaking leaped to the other side of the car and he like put out his hand to her, and she shook it. But I don't know, it was pretty cool.
He was doing an interview at K-Rock, and I was, you know, just finished at a nightclub, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're sitting around at a Denny's, and we're going, oh, well, you know, the interview's tomorrow. Should we go? Should we not? Ended up, we last minute decided to go. First, we decided we weren't going. And a couple of our friends actually went home because it's like, all right, well, we're not going to be here. So they took off. And then all of a sudden when we were driving, just on the phone, hey, let's just go. So we went, and we thought the interview was supposed to be at 7:30. And it ended up being at 9:30. Well, I started work at 10 o'clock. So I called my manager and I begged him. I said, please, you gotta let me speak, you know, a couple hours late. And he knew how much I loved him and how much, you know, and an impact. And as soon as he heard that he was actually gonna be at the radio station, he said, yeah, I'll give you 2 hours. You come in at noon. It's cool. So we're sitting there listening, and all of a sudden, they say that he's gonna come out and do autographs. It's like, man, I can't believe it. So we all jump in the line, and we're sitting there waiting, and he's doing autographs, and everybody's taking pictures, and you know, my friends are up ahead of the line, and there's a group of girls in front of me, and they're sitting there, oh yeah, you know, can we borrow your marker? And I was like, well yeah, but how are you gonna borrow my marker if I'm behind you? So they moved me to the front of their, you know, front of their group. Get there, and it's, you know, the man is shaking, and he's got, you know, his eyes are watering up, and he doesn't feel too, you can tell he doesn't feel too comfortable with a big crowd of people. And, you know, it's understandable as private as he is. But, you know, I walk up to him, I just said, you know, Steven, I said, thank you very much for everything, just thank you. And I just gave him a hug. And the girls that were behind me had my camera and they snapped the picture. And then I just asked him, I said, can you just sign my back? And he says, where? I said, anywhere, just sign it. So he signs away, and the girls behind me get their interviews, get their signatures, and right after that, his eyes are already watering up. He's, you know, emotionally just, you know, building up, and all of a sudden he just says, that's it. And I'm sitting there going, wow. You know, I don't know if all of the girls in that group got their autographs, but that's close that I didn't. And that was just, you know, and I went to work and went to the tattoo parlor, sat there, but it was too late, so I had to go to work. And the next day, luckily, I went and got it done, got it tattooed.
Well, we were here, it was back in April, late April. We were here for the Red Lightning show, which is Alan White, Morrissey's ex-lead guitarist band, his new project. After the set, me and two people came out here. I had just met them. We walked around the corner hoping to talk to Alan White. I've met Alan White before, but I was just hoping to talk to him again. And well, while we were waiting there, we noticed Morrissey crossing the street in this direction. We were around the back, and we came running down the hill. And we're like, I was totally amazed. That was my first experience actually personally talking and meeting Morrissey. And that was just, to me, it was beyond anything, you know, it was just beyond reality.
I've seen him quite a few times. Yeah. You know, and the last couple of times I've seen him, my mouth just like froze and just tears, you know, I couldn't talk. But this time I don't even know what I said, to be honest with you. I don't even know. I don't remember. All I remember saying was, I love you. And he was like, thank you, thank you. That's all I remember.
Meeting Morrissey more recently, he was, this was at a DVD signing. Now, many years have passed, so at this point, Sweet and Tender Hooligans have done quite a few shows, and now this is much years later. This is, we're talking a couple years ago, 2000, maybe 99 probably at this point. So up until this point, meeting him, I'd never said, you know, by the way, I'm the lead singer, I impersonate you, you know, I'd never said that. And so this was the time that I was going to say, by the way. But before I could even introduce myself, he right away knew who I was. He said, oh, of course I know who you are. And real jokingly, he said, yes, it's as if I'm looking in a mirror. And I gave him such a look for condescending to me and like, you know. And before I could even speak, I mean, he was asking me about how the show was last week, the week prior. He'd heard about it, and he said, "Oh yes, I get the flyers." And so he asked, "What songs did you play?" And you know, I told him what songs we played, and I mentioned that we did Lost. And he said, You've done that one before. You know how I know? Because I have a copy of one of your shows. I have a VHS of one of your shows that somebody taped, and I saw you, and I've seen you do Lost. I was speechless, and at that point, that's when I had to ask. Well, so I'm afraid to ask. So did you like it? You know, and he said he loved it. He said he thought it was fantastic, and wow, you know, I thought it was already perfect. You know, meeting him, and now to know that he knows what we are about and he's okay with it, that's even cooler. And ever since then, I have translated Lost in Spanish. And every once in a while, every now and then, we do that song, we do it in Spanish. And I just hope somehow I just hope that gets back to him. Some way, I hope he gets to hear us singing Lost in Spanish.
Aviones en el cielo marcan solo una palabra, un puño de arena. Todos saben, todos están perdidos, sin saber que están perdidos. Aviones en el cielo dejan solo una palabra, un punto de arena. Se perdieron sin saber que están perdidos. Y si te veo y te digo que te he visto, estoy perdido. Y si te veo y te digo que te he visto, no te burles de mí, estoy perdido. Si te veo y te digo que yo te he visto, no te burles de mí, estoy perdido. Si te veo y te digo que te he visto, no te burles de mí, estoy perdido. Estoy perdido. Estoy perdido. Estoy perdido. Estoy perdido.
I have a story for you. I've always been like into him and everything, but like right before I had got this sign, we hadn't been up there in a while because my aunt was in the hospital. My aunt had got sick and she was in the hospital. And when we got to the, they called us, told us she was in the hospital or whatever, but we didn't know how bad she really was. So when we got to the hospital, she was in her deathbed. So we hadn't been up there. It had been like what, 3 months, 2 months. She was like 2 or 3 months that we had been up there. We hadn't been up there actually. we were like at the hospital, sitting there all day, you know, calling all night, you know, just making sure she's okay. But you know, we already knew like she was gonna go. It was her time, you know. She wasn't ready to, but and like I remember the last day that we had went to the hospital. The last night actually. We were the last ones to see her, and it was so weird because you know, general hospital. Usually when you go in a hospital, you know, you hear like elevator music, classical music, that kind of music. It was the last night that we had seen her before she passed away. We had walked through the doors, you know, and Morrissey, I had been listening to nothing at all. Just, you know, you get really depressed. So I was just down, really down. So I remember walking, like, we pushed the doors open to walk right into the ICU, because that's where they had her. And, like, we pushed the doors open, and Suedehead is playing, you know. I was just like, what's the coincidence of that, you know? That was kind of weird for me. You
We were there every single day.
Yeah, we didn't even
heard
hear
Morrissey.
music, you know?
And, like,
The elevators, we'd hear music, but that was it. But, like, we pushed the doors open, we walked in, and you're sweating, you know, why do you come here and why do you hang around? So that was just kind of like,
yeah, and then
wow.
we ended up leaving like around 3 or something.
Yeah, and like I had told him, you know, like, you know, it's her time, you know. So I told my mom, you know, tell her goodbye because that's her sister. And, like, the only thing that kept in my head was like, let me whisper my last goodbyes. It's serious, you know. So I told her that I loved her and everything, and we went home, and 3 hours she was gone. But I found that kind of odd, you know, to go to the hospital and that to be playing, you know. So right after that, we got her name put on my arm. And actually, it was like our next visit up to see Morrissey, when we actually got to see him, crossed him, and he saw my arm. So I got it like right underneath her name.
I thought this was the case last night, but it's also the case tonight that I've finally realised the importance of being Ernesto.
Thoughts on Morrissey himself, you know, embracing that part of well, his fan base. Boy, I love that. I mean, I love it. I mean, because it says to me that he recognizes that we're out there.
When I met him, I took him The Little Prince, but it was a bilingual book. It had it like in English and Spanish, and I gave it to him, and he was like really like happy about it and stuff. So. Like maybe, I mean, I would like to think that maybe he learned some of those words because, you know, I gave him that book.
You know, he's named that DVD of his Oye Esteban, and you know, he's open for rock and Espanol bands now.
When he played with the Jaguars, I mean Juarez, but I call him Jaguars. Like there's nothing but Mexicans there, and I think that's just where his music sells more.
I've experienced that. I saw Morrissey when they did the tour with Juarez. Like in Anaheim. I went to the San Diego show, and well, apparently Morrissey opened, I guess. Okay, so we saw Morrissey, and it was the first time I ever saw him, so I was, you know, completely just ecstatic about that. And his show ended, and you know, I'm assuming people would probably stay, but I would say about a good 50% of everybody left. Morrissey was it for them.
When he would always, you know, before he lived here, when he would always come to Los Angeles, and then he would notice the fans, it started getting him interested. He wanted to, like, know, like, oh, you know, like, a lot of, like, Hispanic people, you know, like my music. So, like, when I met him and he, like, showed interest in, like, you know, like Mexicans and stuff, like, it was kind of funny because one of the guys they were talking to him about some like band or something in TJ, and then Morrissey said Tijuana, like he like totally knew that, and then I was like, whoa, like it just sounded so like weird to hear Morrissey say like Tijuana, and also actually Morrissey had wanted us to take him to a Mexican restaurant.
I think he just realizes he knows who we are, and he knows that we're out there, and he's acknowledging it.
He's also, I mean, he's really embraced the Hispanic culture. I mean, he waves the Mexican flag at shows sometimes.
He wrote a song called Mexico, which will hopefully make it on the next album, and talks about how life growing up in Mexico, and or from an outsider's perspective of what he took and what he saw out of Mexico. of how just the difference of one boundary, of one just man-made border, and how much different it is. Just the separation of miles is the difference between night and day of how we have it here in the United States and how people have it in Mexico. Just a beautiful song, beautiful lyrics about an outsider's point of view of what he saw when he was in Mexico. Beautiful song.
He just, I believe, got very touched that so many Hispanic people really hold on strong to his music.
I'm not sure if he meant it this way, but the first of the gang to die seems to have a Southern California Hispanic meaning behind it. It talks about growing up near the reservoirs, and a kid by the name of Hector, who was the first of the gang to do time and the first of the gang to die. I don't know. I mean, no one other than Morrissey knows if his intention was to tell a story of say growing up in LA. Boy, that's another beautiful song that tells a story. And it's yet another recurring theme that you get in a lot of Morrissey songs about that sweet and tender hooligan.
He may be from England, but just some part of him, it seems like he's so Mexican. And like, I don't know, I think if you were to, I think you would be Mexican if you could, like, you know.
I was at this club called Rocket, and I was just walking. Well, inside I was walking, and some guy puts his hand on my chest, and he was, you know what? I hate your shirt. I don't like what you guys do. I hate Morrissey. I hate whatever you guys stand for.
Morris Creed, I guess, started back in '92 when my friend and I, David, started listening to a lot of his mom's records, old original Smiths records. I like listening to, and then we went off to high school and, listening, started getting more into the style and stuff like that. And, I met my friend, I've known him for a while too, and then listening to the music and started going to the clubs that played a lot of Smiths, Morrissey, and, we jump on our shoulders. We see the old Smiths videos, how they grab them on their shoulders, just having fun. So we try to, stand for what they did back in that day. And doing all those antics, it kind of gave us some type of, fame, or our group became a little more infamous, right? So, and that whole MySpace thing started, so,
Yeah, MySpace was key.
like, after a while, it's like, we hang around a lot, we're Morrissey fans, and so I thought, well, maybe we're like Morrissey's crew, we're like the Moss crew. So that caught on, and I told my friends, they're like, yeah, the Moss crew. So I guess after that, we just started giving ourselves that name. And then my friend Jose came up with like the colors and the font, and he actually came up with the idea just to do a shirt. Let's just get shirts and we all wear them. So he actually got the first shirt, and after that we went to the swap meet out in the Pico
swap meet.
Rivera swap meet. And we all just started buying shirts, and just after that, we were around for maybe a couple of years, and then we went to the Pasadena show. This is like where it just gets wild. From there, like the story just gets wild. We went to Pasadena show, and after the show, we went back to a bar at Santa Monica, and where Boss Borer was DJing.
Yeah.
So we all went in there, and I saw him, and so me and my girlfriend and I went over to him to get his autograph. And when he got the ticket off my hand, he saw the shirt, and in his British accent was like, "Give me your shirt." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Give me your shirt." And I'm like, "Okay." So right there, I took off my coat, completely, bare chested. I took off my shirt. I gave it to him, and in turn, he took off his shirt and gave it to me. So I wore his shirt, and he wore mine. He was wearing it the whole night. The thing about us Moss Crew is like we're all very, very, very close friends. We're consider each other family. We watch over each other family. When someone says, "Well, I don't have enough money to go out that night," or it doesn't matter. As long as you're there, that's what it's more important. So we're all really close close friends. You know, it's all these people that we give a shirt to is like people that, you know, none of these people that want to start problems were really, you know, pacifists, just out there just to have a good time. That's basically what Morrissey stands for, is have a good time and just keep spreading Miles and Smith's love.
I think that what Morrissey could be the most proud of is to know that he's made an impact in music.
And over the first few years during the 90s, the beginning of the 90s, I just found myself gravitating more towards him, and then actually just saying, you know, this is the person that I want to listen to for the rest of my life.
He has affected my life. He has affected me. He has helped shape the person who I am.
You know, as a kid, teenager, I didn't really grow up as a fan, which I'm actually happy about, because now that I'm older, more mature, I can understand his lyrics and listen to them at a more mature level, and that's, I think, you know, is worth, you know, everything that I can even imagine, because understanding Morrissey's lyrics and understanding where he's coming from and understanding his lifestyle and who he is a great reflection of what should be done nowadays.
He talks about things in such an intelligent way, you know. He doesn't just say them right away. He have to like actually think about, oh, okay, this is what he's saying. And I like that a lot. He's really smart about it.
I hope he never changes. You know, I know a lot of artists reinvent themselves and try to sort of try to blend in with what's happening now, the culture now, the kids now, and how they act. And he hasn't done it. You know, he's stayed true to form, and it's worked out. You know, it's like I said, I think it's a very special person that has to be a Morrissey fan.
Morrissey makes perfect sense. It's clear, crystal clear what he says, and there's nothing else I could see that comes close to any of his music.
It's just every song affects me differently, and I like that. I don't have any other person, any other musician that does that in their music.
I think sometimes he depresses me. Kind of gets you in that mode, like where you just like feel like crap.
Well, I'm already in that mode, so therefore I just put it on and listen, and you know, sit there and relate and be happy he feels the same. Or at one point in his life he did, because now that he's older, he claims with age he got happier. Yeah, could that be true?
I don't think so.
No.
As long as Morrissey will put out a CD, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna tear it apart word by word and memorize it, and you know, and just, you know, give thanks and praise.
I think he's like, I don't know, he's just really, really cool. I really, really like him.
We were in the Vegas show, the first Vegas show last year in 2005, and on our way back home, I had left before my friend Cruz had left. And I got home about 7 o'clock, you know, fell asleep, and right about 10 o'clock I just woke up, and where I was sitting at my friend's house, and I don't have no cell phone reception inside the house. I just happened to wake up at 10 o'clock and walk to my car, and as soon as I got to my car, my phone rang. I mean, just answer the phone, and my buddy Cruz is like, hey, I need you to come pick me up. And what happened? I've crashed my car. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, no. So he rolled his car 7 times. So take him to the hospital, and the next day, and that's the day of the show at the Grove. We're sitting there in the doctor's office, and it's 9 o'clock. The show's already started. We're like, okay, we gotta make a decision here, because we both have tickets, and we're both gonna go. He goes up to the nurse, and he says, hey, you know, can I leave? She's like, why? He's like, well, this is Morrissey show. And she's like, oh, you're a Morrissey fan? He's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, go ahead. And she let him go. So he left the doctor's office, injured. We drove down to the Grove and caught the show. And then went to all 5 of the Will Turn shows. On the second show, which was on a Friday, he actually wrote him a letter telling him about what had happened, you know, coming back from Vegas, and just what we had just been going through just recent, time period in our lives, and just asked them to, dedicate There Is a Light That Never Goes Out to us. So that Friday, throws it up on the stage. Morrissey grabs it and puts it in his shirt, and we're like, okay, well, he got it. So we don't know what's gonna happen, whatever. The next day, it's Saturday, he sings, it's the 9th song. He sings the song, turns around, and walks back to get a drink of water. I look at Cruz, I'm like, well, hey, even though he didn't say it, it's still for us. All of a sudden he turns around and he says, I'd like to dedicate that song to Cruz, and we just went crazy. And he goes, you? No, you? And then he points at me and he goes, Sammy. And that was, we just went crazy. you can't have any words, to even express that.
And I'd like to dedicate that song to Cruz.